Analyst Danny Savalas. Danny, you've been all over this story. Talk to us how important this case is in the bigger picture.
Here's what this case is not. This is not about a strict liability. Any parent with a gun is automatically responsible for anything the child does. This is a unique case. This is a case where the theory of responsibility is, number one, the parents recklessly disregarded their son's mental health issues. And then second, they recklessly failed to secure the firearm. And those two combinations, as we know, yielded a deadly result. That's the theory of responsibility here. It is not a statement case that all parents are always responsible for everything that happens in a firearm in their home.
Her husband is going to face his own trial, same charges in March. Why not try them together?
Because severance is in the defendant's best interest. It just so happens that the mother is going first. The father will go second. This will allow them to, as I was certain would happen and was borne out today in mother's testimony, point the finger at each other. That's exactly what mom did today. Number one, she said, well, school officials didn't tell me everything. I didn't know everything. No one else told me about some of these other red flags. And finally, when it came to the gun, that was Dad's responsibility. That was something Dad handled. I wouldn't even take it out of the trunk of the car because I don't like handling it. Now, whether or not that's credible in light of the fact that she took her son to the firing range, she's a little more comfortable with firearms than probably most people.
Well, you're from the state of Michigan. Michigan is a state that enjoys gun culture. How do you think the jury is going to feel about these charges, considering how many people have guns in their own homes?
I'm so glad you brought that up. I am a Michigander from a rural area. This is a county that is somewhat urban, no major city in it, but I would say it's got some urban sprawl. But Michiganders own firearms. I'm probably the only one of all of my male friends in high school who never owned a firearm, never hunted, never fished. Everybody took a week off in the fall to go deer hunting. They hunt. People have firearms in the home. They're accustomed to it. This jury knows that. This jury probably knows plenty of people as well who hunt and have firearms in the home. It is a cultural thing, and that has to factor in with the jury here. They're not going to be shocked that a mother took her son to a firing range, of course, assuming a son doesn't have mental health issues.
There's another case I want to ask you about, totally unrelated, but also sort of about liability once removed. Today, we learned about Publicis Health. They agreed to pay $350 million over their opioid marketing. This is the first advertising agency to settle claims that are associated to the opioid crisis. How significant is it?
From a liability standpoint, it may be even more legally significant than the opioid companies themselves. After all, the theory against the manufacturers is you are the ones that made this product. But this theory of liability is that, hey, as the advertisers, you promoted this product. You created pamphlets. You targeted doctors who were good sellers or good prescribers of opiates. And you sent your army of sales folks out there and pushed and pushed and pushed. And therefore, you, as the advertisers, as the promoters, are equally as responsible. And that's the theory of liability here. It's very interesting because, admittedly, they are not the manufacturers. They did not create the product. In fact, the people selling the product may not have even known much about the pharmacological effects of the product. They may not have known at the time.
Can't you say the same thing about the advertising agency?
Absolutely right. Yeah, you're exactly right. So it goes to, and because these are settlements, we never really find out in a trial who knew what and when. But it is a fascinating theory of liability to extend responsibility from the actual people who put the product into the hands of addicts out to those who advertised for them, who promoted the product.
It's fascinating to me how much money was made in opioids that just the advertising agency could settle for that kind of money. You got to wonder, how much were they making in this awful, awful scheme that has killed, that's destroyed communities in